Joe Biden announced his withdrawal from the U.S. presidential election. Joe Biden announced his withdrawal from the U.S. presidential election July 21, 2024, over the past 3 weeks. About 40 Democratic congressmen have called on Biden to end his campaign because of his disastrous performance at the first debate with Trump. The current US President Joe Biden has announced that he is withdrawing his candidacy from the presidential election. "It was the greatest honor in my life to be your president. And although I intended to seek re-election, I believe it is in the interests of my party and the country to resign and focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term," Biden said in a statement released on Twitter. He noted that the United States has made great progress over the past 3 years, that is, during his presidency, including in economic terms, in the field of health, climate change, etc., and has also gone through the coronavirus pandemic. He expressed gratitude to his Vice President Kamala Harris, who was an outstanding partner in all this work. For more than 3 weeks, the 81-year-old incumbent head of state has been under intense pressure from party members demanding that he stop his election campaign. The reason was a failed speech at the first debate against Republican Donald Trump, during which the American president looked confused, stammered, and lost his train of thought. At first, all discussions within the Democratic Party about the future of the Biden campaign were closed, although the discontent and fears of some of its members leaked to the media. But then dozens of congressmen, according to the Washington Post, we are talking about at least 37 Democrats, publicly called on the president to withdraw his candidacy. They were also joined by a number of major party donors and even Hollywood celebrities, including George Clooney. Behind the scenes, one of the main veterans of the Democratic Party, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, and former Speaker of the House of Representatives Nancy Pelosi, called for Biden to take such a step. They expressed fears that if Biden remained in the race, he and the White House would lose control of the chambers of the U.S. Congress, completely freeing Trump's hands in the event of his victory. On July 17, Biden was diagnosed with coronavirus infection. The politician canceled campaign events and left Washington to undergo quarantine at a summer house in Delaware. The Democratic Party Congress, at which the party needs to decide on its presidential and vice presidential candidates, is scheduled to take place in Chicago on August 19 to 22. Following the results of the internal party elections that ended in early June, Biden is the only candidate who was able to secure the necessary number of votes of party delegates for the presidential nomination. However, the Democratic National Committee planned to hold a virtual roll call of party delegates 2 weeks before the convention, in early August, so as not to miss the deadline for submitting documents to include their candidate on the ballot in Ohio. According to local law, they expired on August 7, but recently the governor of the state signed a law extending them until early September. However, the document comes into force only on September 1, so the National Committee of the Democratic Party hoped to avoid possible legal problems with the help of early voting. Other Democratic presidential contenders included Senator Mark Kelly, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, as well as Governors Gavin Newsom, Gretchen Whitmer, Joshua Shapiro, Wes Moore, and others.